to my subscribers, this is not the type of video that I would normally post. Something has happened that has hit home. This is a video about heroes, and I'm not talking about a politician, an athlete, or some Hollywood star. I'm talking about people who interact in your life that are real heroes. To me, my hero is my brother Terry. He's 3 or 4 years older than me. Didn't graduate from college. Didn't graduate from high school, much less college. Went into the Marine Corps, got discharged because of his vision. Did a stint with the Forestry Service, and then went into the U.S. Army, got trained as a mortician, and retired from the Army as a highly decorated veteran. He has done wonderful things with his life. From someone who rode the short bus to school, he is the most successful person in our family. But what makes him a hero, other than his doggedness to work harder than anyone else, he works harder than anyone I've ever known, is the fact that he raised 2 girls that were not his kids, but he treated them. You cannot tell him that they're not his kids, even though he's not their biological father. They are his kids 100%. He raised them, put them through college. They are wonderful women today. That is a real hero. He has financially helped many people in our families and other people's families. He's even financially helped me at times. So he has never asked for anything in return other than, do the best you can. So he is a hero. That is what you really call a hero. Someone who has your back. Someone that he's the guy who has, when you go to him and says, I've got this problem, he says, okay, do I need a shovel? Who's driving? That's a hero. So I'm here to talk tonight about a friend of mine. My friend Rob. I went to work for him in 1994 and 1995. He was my boss. He was not the head of the company, but he was executive vice president, general manager, whatever it was called. He was my boss. And we had a lot of run-ins over the years. And then in 2000, I actually quit, left him in a lurch because of a policy difference. I was a bit high-strung, and if I got my feelings hurt, if I thought I was doing something right, but I could not toe the policy line because of politics, I got pissed off and I quit. Left him in a lurch. Moved to California with my wife. No, she wasn't my wife at the time. But anyway, the thing is, Rob and I, Rob, and Laura, we were a threesome. Laura is my ex-wife. We used to go out every Friday night. And Laura was our designated driver. Me and Rob, when I say we go out on Friday nights, we go experiment at different restaurants. And Rob and I, Rob more than me, was a wine connoisseur, so we got into the wines on Friday nights and things of that nature. And so at that point I had a little small sports car, a little 280Z. I had a Mazda RX-7. It wasn't a 280Z, it was a Mazda RX-7 at that point. And it was a little 2-seater Mazda RX-7. And had a little hatch in the back. And so Laura would have to drive us home from whatever restaurant we were at. And Rob is 6 foot 2 tall. He would have to climb into the back into the hatch, and we'd drop it off, and then we would head home. So we've had a very good relationship. Then when I left the company that he worked for in 2000 and decided, I got pissed off, to be honest with you, got pissed off because there was an employee that worked for me I was a service manager. I had an employee that I wanted to dismiss, and I could not dismiss him because of well, I'm not going to get into the reason I can't dismiss him. Anyway, so I said it's either him or me. He said, well, we can't let this guy go, this person go. And I said, well, I didn't show up to work the next day, and decided to move to California for Laura to continue her education. But Rob did not hold that against me. When we decided to move, 6 months later, when we moved to California, Rob held a going away party for us. And Rob came out to California and visited us. We went to see a Jimmy Buffett concert. So Rob's always been a very good friend. When we moved back to the East Coast in 2007, I would see Rob every few months or stuff. I'd go up to DC and see him. And then when we moved to the southern Pinehurst area, Rob started coming down and playing golf with me. Joined the same golf club I'm a member of as an out-of-state member. Rob and I, Rob was there the day I had my first hole-in-one. Of course, he's also the reason the night before we had so much to drink that when I had my first hole-in-one, the only thing I wanted to drink was a Gatorade. So we've had some very interesting and fun times together. We're very close in age. He's about 6 months older than I am, 7 months older than I am. And he's 65, I'm 64. And we have celebrated a lot together over the years. But since COVID, I think the last time I actually saw Rob was in 2018 or 19. I went to his mother's funeral. And since then, he had moved to Florida, was running the company down there. And we kept in touch by telephone. I mean, at one point between 2010 and 2020, Rob actually worked for my company for a little while as a off-site employee. And so we've kept in touch on a monthly basis, but the actual last time I saw Rob was in, I think, 2019. So 2 years ago, Rob got prostate cancer. And it was very discouraging. I mean, you have to understand, Rob is also one of my heroes. Not because he's a friend of mine, but because of what he's done with his life. The company I used to work for, we used to work a lot of Saturdays. And Rob was a single parent. He had a little girl. And he used to bring her in on Saturdays and put her in a playpen. In his office, he had a playpen in his office to keep his little girl in when he had to come to work. So anytime he couldn't be with her, he would, anytime that, there wasn't a sitter or she wasn't in school or something, he would bring her to work. And so I grew, everyone in the company grew up around Rob and Rob's daughter, because he was dedicated to his daughter. I mean, that's what a hero is. Whether you're a man or a woman, when you're dedicated to your kids like that. So he raised a wonderful daughter. I mean, he was a better parent to his daughter than I was to my two kids. I'll be honest with you. And we used to give Rob a hard time Uh, Rob looks like he's from Mexico or Latin descent, and he used to play it up. He said, "I'll go mow your lawn, I'll do this." He's actually Dutch, but he has the olive complexion, the dark black hair, and we used to have a lot of fun. And the company that he ran, that I worked for, was a very multiracial company, and everyone loved Rob. Everyone loved him, no matter your racial ethnicity. Everyone loved him. He was a great manager. He was a great boss. So anyway, 2 years ago, Rob got diagnosed with prostate cancer. And it was hard. It was hard. Rob's about 6'2", 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". I don't know exactly how tall. He's taller than me. I'm 5'8", and he's taller than me. And I wear a large or extra large shirt, and Rob should wear a large or extra large as well, but he refused to wear anything but a medium, which we call the smidgen. The smidgen. It's the smidgen. Smidgen is what we call it. We call it the smidgen. I mean, Rob is actually the person who gave me the nickname RB, and RB stands for Rat Bastard, because sometimes I can be. But anyway, so 2 years ago, Rob got prostate cancer, and it was tough. He lost weight. I mean, this is a guy who had that big Richie Valens, big black hair stuff. You know, he lost all his hair with the chemotherapy. He lost all the weight, went down to like 130 pounds or so. But he was fighting back. He was fighting back. He didn't give up. And he was improving over the winter. And in February we were talking, and he said he was starting to chip and putt, because he's a great golfer, much better golfer than me. I'm a hacker. Rob loved golf. Rob didn't play sports except golf, and he loved to play golf. He went with me to Scotland. The first time I went to Scotland, me and Rob went to Scotland together. That's how good friends we were. Of course, I did take my wife and my mother-in-law with us, but that's another story. But me and Rob, we went to Scotland together twice, and we had a fantastic time. But Rob's a great golfer. He hits a golf ball we call the Tijuana tuck and roll. I know it doesn't sound good, and it's racist and whatever. We're just guys. But anyway, Rob's a great golfer, and he played golf all the time. Whenever he got a chance, I should say, not all the time. Whenever he got a chance, he played golf, and he practiced. He practiced in his basement. You'd go to his house at night, and he'd be hitting golf balls in his basement, because he couldn't go out. He couldn't date, because he had a daughter he had to take care of. So he couldn't. He didn't have a normal life like a lot of people do. When you're a single father with a daughter, there's not a lot of things. You're not going out and dating. You're not doing things like that. So his only things that he could do was he'd go into his basement of his home in Virginia here, and he'd hit golf balls, and get golf balls, and just make sure he did a great job of raising his daughter. So he moved to Florida in 2019 or 2018, 17, somewhere along there. He moved to Florida and took over a company down there. Continued to play golf. His daughter eventually grew up, of course, as all kids do. She has a great son herself now. She's a wonderful mother, from what I understand, from what I've seen. But anyway, back to the story. So in over the winter, Rob was starting to gain strength back, And in February, I guess around February, we were talking. He said he was starting to chip and putt a little bit. The doctors had given him the okay where he could go to the course and start to chip and putt. And then March, he said he started swinging. And at my golf club, you know, I haven't played golf in 6 months. Well, more than 6 months. I used to play a lot, and that's what got me the reason I don't have a wife any longer. But I still maintain my membership because it's just the value to losing it is just it's not worth losing it. It's more than, and it's a minimal cost for me to maintain it when I live out of state. And so he's saying he was had gone out and hit a few golf balls, and I said, well, this is in March. I said, well, we have a spring member guest at the end of May. Why don't you come up and play the spring member guest with me? And he was so excited. He was so excited about coming up. And over the past few weeks, you know, he's been out playing 9 holes of golf, and you know, not playing, you know, anywhere like he used to, but just to, you know, I mean, not within 10 strokes of on a 9 holes where he used to be able to play. But he was enjoy playing it, and that's all it counts. That's all it worries about. And I told him, I said, it doesn't matter that we finish in last place. We're just gonna go out there and have a good time and enjoy the camaraderie. So he was so looking forward to it. And then today, he called me. He had played his first 18 holes of golf on Sunday. And then he said he was tired, but he knew he had to play, you know, consecutive days of 18 holes. So he went back out on Monday and tried to play another 18, but he I mean, I'm not 100% sure of the facts, but I don't know that he could complete the 18 holes. So he wasn't feeling well, and he called his oncologist, and they called him in to come see him on Tuesday. Come see the oncologist on Tuesday. And of course they ran some blood tests, and his platelets was so low that they sent him to the hospital immediately. And he called me tonight to let me know that he was in the hospital, because I hadn't talked to him since last Thursday. I hadn't talked to him in a week. And he called to tell me that, you know, he was in the hospital. And he was the cancer has spread to his liver. And he was more upset that he was letting me down for a golf tournament next week. And then what's happening with him? This is one of my best friends in life. This is someone who has stood by me through thick and thin. Through the many mistakes I've made, he has stood by me. And His life is in peril, and he's worried about me. That's a hero. That's a hero. So I want each of y'all to look into y'all's lives. And it's the purpose of this video, is to look at the heroes in your lives. Not the glib and the glam, but the everyday people. Your family and your friends. Think about your heroes. Now, I told my brother that he's my hero. But I never told Rob that he was one of my heroes. And I'm sorry about that. Because he has been. For a couple of decades, I've looked up to him as a hero. So I want you guys to go to people in your lives and tell people that you respect, that they are heroes to you, and tell them before it's too late that they are your heroes. Because life's it's not fair. Rob's led a much better life than I have. He's been a much better person than me. And it's not fair that he's going through these times and these troubles and the health issues he's having. And I'm relatively in good shape. It's not fair. It's not fair, but that's life. Unfortunately, that's life. But what we can do is tell these people that are in our life, that have been great friends, who have set great examples, who are heroes to many of us. Don't wait until it's too late. Tell them that they're a hero. Send this video to many of your friends. That's all that matters. Let your friends and your family know that there are heroes out there that don't get the spotlights. But they're in our hearts. They're in our heads. And they will be with us always.